My name is Fazeela Gopalani and I am the Head of Education for ACCA for the Middle East. Welcome to our Facebook Live session where I am going to be uncovering the examiner's report for financial management. So, this paper was previously known as the F9 exam paper. You've got three sections. Section A, which is all OT case questions, objective test case questions. Section B, that is objective test case questions. And section C, which are the longer style constructed response questions. Right, so a few little things that I read from the examiner's comments. They are saying that if in the objective test questions you see a question that says choose two correct statements. Now, if you choose three correct statements, you're going to get 0 marks because it's all or nothing. If you choose two correct statements but one of them is wrong and if one of them is correct, you still get 0 marks because there's no half marks and no partial marking going on. And if there's a different style of question where you have to put in a number entry, where you have to actually type in the number, if they've specified the format 1 or 2 decimal places, then please follow that format that they've actually specified. And if they haven't specified anything, then please ensure you do the answer to 1 or 2 decimal places. Right, so let's talk about section C. As is expected with accounting students, we all love numbers, right? So we're great at the calculation element. Okay, we might make a tiny weeny little mistakes here and there. We're not so good on the discursive. And this has been a trend that I've seen in all the examiner's reports I've read to date. So what does that mean? Do you want to be that typical student that makes mistakes? No, you don't. Do you want to stand out from the crowd? Yes, you do. Do you want to pass this exam? Yes, you do. Which means when you're studying at home, don't just spend time on the calculation part, especially if you've mastered that calculation question, be it an NPV analysis. Instead, what you should be doing is spending time on the discussion, learning and applying the knowledge that you've gained. So you need to get that knowledge and make sure you apply it and show the marker in the exam that you know enough about that topic. Now, when you see the verbs in the question, discuss and explain, you need to discuss and explain. You need to understand what they mean and what you need to do. Time and time again, the financial management examiner's report was very detailed. It was at least around 8 to 9 pages. Every single question was dissected in this examiner's report and you must take time out to read it. And what did they keep saying? Students are making lists. Students who are asked to discuss factors, just put a list down of discuss factors. Do you really think you're going to get 6 marks for a list? No, you need to expand and explain and relate it to the scenario to get 6 full marks. For 6 marks, you need 3 factors well explained. For each factor, you'll get 2 marks. Students are good at NPV, but they're less good at adjusting for risk and uncertainty in investment appraisal. They're less good at specific investment decisions, which means what? Those are the topics you need to be spending time on and not mastering NPV that you already are great at. So, your discursive questions, make sure they're not too brief. Make sure you're expressing yourself properly and don't express yourself poorly, and make sure you address the requirement. Now, typical students, I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, and so are all of you. What are we going to do when we see a topic that we like, a discussion part? We are going to regurgitate all our knowledge, say everything about that topic that we possibly know, or we answer what we really wanted to be asked. Now, that's not the way to attempt exam questions. You need to answer the question that you've been asked. And always ensure that you're using the scenario. So if they ask you for a recommendation, ensure that you don't just put option A is better and that's it. You can't just put option A is better. You need to say why option A is better. And you know what? You're going to lose 1 to 2 marks for not saying why option A was better. Working capital investment policies. Students lacked knowledge in this area in the September 2018 exam. Now, students are getting confused with working capital investment policy with working capital, financial policy. Please make sure you know the difference for your upcoming December exam. Some common mistakes are still found in the NPV calculation. So if I were you, can you take some time out to read the examiner's report? There's a list there of common pitfalls and mistakes that students are making. Right, students in the discursive questions are not using correct terminology. They are not using the right terms for time value of money. Such an important concept at F9. How could you not use the right word to explain that? You're making spelling mistakes while typing, not putting punctuation in, full stops, commas, which are then making it very difficult for the marker to understand what you're saying. And what's happening? You're giving an impression of poor organization of answers to the questions. And that's not the right image that you want to give of yourself in this exam to the marker, right? NPV and IRR. Do you know, students are fantastic at calculating it, but they're not very good at comparing them and discussing both of them and saying the reasons why one is better than the other. Please take time out to compare and contrast concepts like this. What about sensitivity and probability analysis? You need to ensure that you know and can compare and contrast that concept as well. Explain and discuss the relationship between systematic and unsystematic risk. Some students are actually getting confused with the explanation and they don't even write down the right definition of both of those. Don't be that typical student that does that. If you're doing a computer-based exam, remember NPV and IRR formulas are available, but you must be careful that you're actually picking the correct numbers out for that formula. Number 2, sum total. Be very careful. Spreadsheets can sometimes get hyper excited and you're just putting the mouse across and you might be totaling wrong columns. Please check that the total columns are right, especially when you're doing an NPV analysis. And make sure you present your answers like you would in a professional environment. Fantastic. Well, I hope you found this useful. Please read the examiner's report and good luck for your upcoming financial management exam in December.